Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Rosy. I'm actually very nervous and excited at the same time because I've never done something like that before. And as you can hear from my accent, I'm not from Ireland, I'm actually from Italy. And I moved here in 2019. And when I moved here, it was a bit of a cultural shock for me. The weather is very different. You need a reference from the Pope to find a room here, apparently. And how Irish people say things, that's what amazed me. I started to hear people telling me, oh, hey, Rosy, what's the crack? Or, yeah, Rosy, you know yourself, you're a man, Rosy, and don't worry, it's grand. So, it was a bit weird, but the things that I really love the most is when you bump into someone from Ireland, and they go, oh, hey, how's it going? And they don't wait for you to answer. You stay there with your hands like that. They just, it's beautiful, And it's very different from Italy. So for me, it was very much of a cultural shock. But, at the end of the day, it is where it is. So, yeah. So I moved here to, join something that has been described as the most vicious circle of hell. I'm doing a PhD in chemistry. Yeah, I know. So it is a lot of hard work. And, many times I really wanted to drop this shit. And I remember talking to someone and saying, I really can't handle this anymore. I really want to stop that. And this person turned to me and was like, well, Rosy, PhD is only for special people. No, special people, my ass. No, PhD is not for special people. It is not for people who are socially awkward or for people who are genius. I personally am none of those three things. I'm not special, I'm not socially awkward, and I'm not a genius for sure. I like to think as myself as someone very basic. I like pink, I like golden retriever. I love listening Taylor Swift. And God bless, every October I need to have my pumpkin spice latte. So, I'm very basic. So, how come that I'm doing a PhD? What do you actually need to do a PhD? So, in my experience, I came out with three things, okay? So, number one, you need to have an extra pair of trousers. So, let me explain what I mean. So this was 2 years ago, right? I've been working on my reaction for 3 weeks, right? 3 weeks of work in a single flask. And I'm going towards my last things to do, and then I've completed my job, and I don't realize that the flask is cracked. Yeah. So I put it on the bench, and it smashed everywhere and go everywhere on my clothes, all the chemical on my clothes. Long story short, I am in the university toilet in my underpants, calling my flatmate, be like, please bring me trousers, because I have no change. I'm desperate. And, that was very silly of me, because usually when you work in a lab, you need to have extra clothes. And the idea being is because stuff don't go as planned. We expect that something can go wrong, and that's what PhD is a bit all about. There is a lot of hard work that does not necessarily pay off. You need a lot of motivation that someday you just don't have. And, there are a lot of challenges, and sometimes you don't have the resources for it. Which brings me to point number 2. You need to like what you're doing, and you need to have some sort of interest in what you're doing. In my case, I work with cancer research. I am working on making a diagnostic agent for cancer, right? So the idea behind is that tumor reproduce very fast compared to normal cells, and tumor wants much more food than normal cells. So if you remember how the Greek conquered the city of Troy, right? Their strength was no use. So what they did, they built a giant horse, they put their best soldier inside, the horse gained them access to the city, and then once they were inside, they conquered the city, right? So similarly, my Trojan horse, it's a nutrient. It's something that tumor cells want. In my case, I work with vitamin B12, and I love it. I'm really obsessed with natural product. And, oh well. And the solder inside are something called imaging agent. It's basically a light bulb. So if you imagine the tumor cell englobating this and only tumor cell, you can turn on the light and you can only detect tumor cell and not healthy one. And what I'm doing at the moment, I'm working in a lab to create this sort of system. Point number 3, you need to find something that switch you off. You can't work 24 hours. You need to find something. In my case, I love doing outreach, and I particularly enjoy doing outreach with kids. I'm doing a course, a chemistry course in the University of Galway. The name of the course is called It's Bond, Hydrogen Bond. Yeah. And I love working with kids because I think they are hilarious. I used to have a kid one time, and like a student, who was a student, let's be clear. This kid every day had a different obsession, right? So day 1, Gordon Ramsay. Day 2, Boris Johnson. Day 3, the communism. 10 years old, anyway. Day 4, Shakira. Yeah. I don't know how they're even connected, but after day 4, he would start to sing Hips Don't Lie constantly. And he made a dance with the rest of the kids, right? And they were all going, oh, da, 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 And at some point they were begging me, can I do the Shakira dance? Can I do the Shakira dance? And I was like, yes, of course you can, but why don't you make it about chemistry, the song? And somehow we got lost in translation because they made the song about me. And yeah. And it started to be something like, oh, Rosy, when you teach like that, you make a student go mad. So, yeah. So, in conclusion, PhD can be many things, can be very, very hard. And if you want to do something smart, the payoff, please post video of your dogs on Instagram. This shit pay a lot of money, Thank you so much.